Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It's markets in the morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin price chart, Ethereum, altcoin market, broader markets like gold and silver, and the US stock market to see how we're going to open, as the market is set to open in about 15 minutes from right now. So we'll go through a lot that's going on this morning as we get ready to start our day, and then we'll take a peek at the markets as they open up here in 15 minutes to see what the initial reaction is, and we'll get an idea of what futures trading is looking like as the day is about to get started. Now, this morning, quite a bit of stuff going on out there. One, Bitcoin is still holding above $30,000. Pretty interesting to see that. I noticed this over here on the total market cap as well. We talked about this, how we were underneath a range. This is a range that has held us down ever since August over here for the total market cap of all of crypto. And what we could see is earlier this week, we broke out above that. We have back tested it today. Green action everywhere in the market. Look at that. Almost like a nice little back test and still continuing to move up. So we might have ourselves an interesting day today. The news today, right? So the big one is Ethereum up above $2,000. So Ethereum is now poking back there. So we just saw over there on the total market cap, boom, we have gotten above it and back tested it. You can see Ethereum is actually fighting against that currently at this time. So we have seen above $2,000 Ethereum today. It keeps kind of waffling around right there at 2,000 in the 1990s. But we have seen it as high as 2010. So there you go. Just hanging out right there at $2,000 to start the morning. We'll revisit that here in just a moment. So the big economic data that came out this morning is we actually got the producer price index this morning. And it was just an absolute whooping. It was better than expectations over there. The month over month producer price index. And I shared this over there on Twitter this morning. So just a kind of refresher on what the PPI is. The producer price index measures the change in the price of goods sold by manufacturers. It is a leading indicator on consumer price inflation, which accounts for the majority of overall inflation. And so we could see here we got this big fat negative 0.5% reading month over month. Now, if you remember yesterday, we were looking at CPI, so consumer price inflation yesterday, the consumer price index yesterday, and we were knocking out that April number. Well, that's what just happened here for the producer price index. The April reading from 2022 was at 1.6%. So that gets knocked out of the year over year number, and that 1.6% just got replaced with a negative 0.5%. So what you end up seeing is for the year over year producer price index falls all the way down, right? We've been watching this trend happen all year long. Now here we go. That big number just got knocked out and replaced with the negative 0.5. The year over year PPI is now 2.7%. You can see we've just gone 6.2, 6.0, 4.6 last month, and boom, we're down to 2.7. Why is that number interesting? We always hear the Fed talk about that magical number of 2%, right? And then we look back over here to the right, we could see back in 2018, you have your July reading, you have your August reading. These are 3.4s, 3.3s, 2.8s, 2.9s. Here we are with a 2.7. So we're back down into kind of historical norm levels. Let's go back a little bit further and take a look at that, right? You could see during this whole time period, look where we are right here at 2.7. 2017, 2018, it's kind of in line with what we've seen historically, right? And we'll go through this a little bit back further. You have your cyclical periods of down. So the thing is, so I saw somebody post this on Twitter and kind of had to go with, discuss it too, is that 2.7%, right? So people are kind of probably hoping and thinking to themselves, oh, that means that we're going to see prices come down soon. Not necessarily, right? So what this means is year over year inflation, right? So we still have the 11.7 baked into the inflation that we're paying today. It just means that rate of growth has slowed down. And instead of us going down and only being 2.7, it's that 11.7 or that 11.5 plus 2.7. So we're still paying all those elevated prices that we were paying last year, plus we're paying another 2.7% now. So this isn't like a reading signifying any type of deflation happening, but it's saying the rate of growth of inflation is slowing down. Now, what we saw, right, is we saw a negative 0.5%. That's deflation, right? But that's only 1 month, right? So if you start doing that for consecutive months and then the year over year starts becoming negative, well, a year over year number, if it's a negative number, that actually means you're paying less than what you were paying the year prior. So we're not there. As long as this number is positive, it means that we're paying more than we were paying last year. But there can be periods of time where you see that, where prices are going down, like in 2015 in here. So that's that. That was a big beat, right? So what's the worry, right? The worry is about inflation. The Fed's always talking about inflation. Is the Fed going to pause the rate hikes? All that great stuff. We're not going to get into the Fed too much today. But yeah, so that was the positive news that came out there in broader markets today. Let me look at this. It has not significantly impacted what futures look like for the stock market as they get ready to open. So you look at the Dow. The Dow is up 0.18%. You look at the S&P 500, 0.28%, and the Nasdaq, 0.47%. So futures are slightly up. However, nothing significant. And look what happened yesterday, right? The Nasdaq was down 115 points, S&P down 17, and the Dow down 38. So it hasn't really like recouped what ended up happening yesterday. Like we were pointing this out yesterday in futures, right? Hey, we'd gotten above all fib levels. You have the confluence of a trend line. I'm not a big trend line guy, but we saw that we had gotten above fibs, right? Then it pulls right back down into it. And so we're not, the stock market, based on these two positive readings, right? You had a positive reading yesterday for consumer price index, and then you have a positive reading today for producer price index. Still, market is struggling in here. One of the big things that is really interesting to me is, of course, I'm thrilled. Bitcoin's still holding itself together. Ethereum, you're back at 2,000. You're trying to fight to get above the August height after bottoming 10 months ago, which we had to fight against the negative emotions of the crowd all that time, right? And with the total market cap, right? These are all really exciting things, but this is crazy right here. So you have gold now. Gold is still fighting up and setting another yearly high today. So it's up to $2,042 right now. So it's getting really, really close to getting to that all-time high right there. So we'll keep an eye on that. And we know that the Dow is really struggling out in here. So that's just more of like for the bigger perspective view, right? Nothing changes for me thinking, hey, retrace, big excitement, euphoria time in the market that can last a few months. But the bigger question everybody, of course, has is whether or not is this turning into a new 4-year cycle? Is this going to turn into something much bigger than that and last a really long time? That's what we look at gold for. It's what we're looking at the stock market for, to keep that bigger perspective picture. Retraces, getting back up. Yep, all good, all good. But the big debate everybody has out there is Bitcoin going back into retracement to then roll over and crumble, or is Bitcoin going off into new all-time highs? And the factor required for new all-time highs based on the 2013, 2017, and 2021 bull run, all three of them, is that the Dow Jones Industrial Average had to set a new all-time high, and Bitcoin did it within weeks of that occurring. None of the bull runs Bitcoin has ever done have been independent of the stock market. Hard pill for a lot of Bitcoiners to swallow. It's a statistical fact. It's non-debatable. It's unequivocal. It is hard fact. So that's why we keep an eye over there on gold. That's why we study gold. We study the stock market, the inverse relationship between the two for the broader, bigger trend of bull market. That's crazy. You got gold getting right back near that all-time high. So we'll keep monitoring that, but that's the highest price we have seen for gold dating back to March of last year. And so if you look to March of last year, when we got to these prices, it was only able to get up there for one day, and then the next day, right back down. So we'll see how this lasts today. We'll see if this thing is able to hold, and what kind of selling pressures come in here. So attempt to break out into new all-time high. It failed last time, right? So here we are again. Stock market will open in 6 minutes from right now. Let's take a look at what's happening with any of these before they open. You have mixed, but nothing crazy. Coinbase up 2.7%. Everything else up like less than 1%. So no huge movers in this list right in here. You can see treasury yields, mostly red. And just the stock market kind of waffling on this positive data that has come out here, right? So you have to say to yourself too, is this like the Fed's mandate, right? They want to get inflation back down to 2%, but are things moving in a direction of deflation? So that may be the worry out there. I don't know. I pay more attention to charts, so I'm not going to try to read too much into that. But I think that the celebration thing is that retail the argument on Twitter is always just ridiculous, right? We knew the thing was coming down. We finally got in here, so that's great. Great PPI. One other thing, you can see that Bitcoin dominance. So it's nice to see the altcoin market getting a move, right? It's a significant thing to see that Ethereum's poking it back above that $2,000, trying to go for that breakout, as we saw over here on the total market cap of crypto. People have been wondering a lot about Bitcoin dominance. It has been fighting in this range. It has hit the top of this range 4 times. It has hit the bottom of this range 4 times. And now here we are once again. And now the altcoin market seems to be gaining a little bit of steam as the Bitcoin dominance is now pulling back from the top of this range. So I think the thing to kind of start breathing a sigh of relief is if that Bitcoin dominance can at least get back down in here, back to these lows once again, back down to like 47%. Then it'll show quite a significant amount of bearish divergences emerging over there on the Bitcoin dominance. But again, how long have we been in here now? May. We've been in here for 2 years. We've been here for 1 year and 11 months, hitting both sides of the range 4 times. So I, for one, will happily take seeing the altcoins finally getting their turn. And see if there's anything in particular to talk about that was crazy. Oh, we didn't look at XRP. There we go. XRP, it's still doing as we thought. It's just kind of hanging out in here. So until something changes, that's still just going to kind of remain the thoughts of how things are happening here for XRP. We got I got like a 70% rise that took place a couple of weeks ago, and now it's kind of waiting for this. So, and we kind of talked about this for leading up to this, that I was saying, I saw Bitcoin, and I'll tell you this, I'm surprised it's still holding itself up. I would have thought that for being a short squeeze, which was the anticipation, right? Did about a $200 million short squeeze up in here. The expectation was to see a fallback come back in here. I'm pretty surprised to see it's actually still holding itself up. We were anticipating a short squeeze to happen, but my thoughts were, hey, after that short squeeze, we're going to chill out once again. But over here and at the same time, we were thinking, hey, XRP, you're likely pause out, and that still appears to be true. You can look at all the indicators in here. All indicators are signaling XRP is chilling out. You see everything is completely flipped over. All the strength that emerged right there from March until right at the beginning of April, all these things have cooled off here for XRP. But we were looking over there at Ethereum and saying, there's something about Ethereum and the setup that we have going on here that says like the opposite of those things, that Ethereum has like the shot to shoot its way up. I don't know how it's going to happen, but structurally, it looks like it's ready to start doing it, and we might have this happening now. So a lot of people are going to talk about the upgrade that happened last night. So right, there's a big de-risk that has happened, in which there's been Ethereum that's been locked up for years in staking. People have not been able to withdraw that Ethereum. Last night, the upgrade happened. Now the Ethereum is withdrawable, so people have the right to be able to easily sell it on the markets if they choose to. However, it's not happening. So market, they have not opted to sell it. So the huge fear narrative is that, they're all going to sell it the second they get it. It didn't happen. It did not happen at all. So where was the upgrade? Where did it happen at? What time is it right now? Is it back in here? I don't know. Somewhere back over here. There was just no giant sell pressure that emerged in here. So off and away it went. The market did not get worried about that. And so we talked about this too, right? I was like, structurally we look like this for Ethereum. It looks like it wants to go for actual attempted breakout here. And the thing why I wasn't worried about the unlocking of the staked assets is Ethereum didn't price it in. Right? The smart money did not shift the market down to wait for people to unlock it and not care about it, just sell it for whatever they could sell it for, right? the market did not price it in, right? The whales, they did not get the market moved down to where they would have wanted prices to be if there was a risk of a large amount of Ethereum hitting the market to where they could accumulate it at cheaper prices. The market did not price it in as it being an actual threat. While it was a YouTube threat, while it was a Twitter threat, the market didn't price it in as one. And so here we are. I'm sure, like I was talking to TXMC last night, I was texting him this and just saying, you know, I will bet you there are, you know, because you can see it over Twitter. There's people tracking this. They're seeing who is withdrawing from staking, right? And they can see all the wallets that are withdrawing it from staking. I bet you there are funds out there who are running bots, who are tracking all the addresses that withdrawed all the Ethereum. They're watching what is happening with the Ethereum after it gets withdrawn. Is it getting sent back into staking? Is it getting sent to, you know, staking exchanges? Is it getting sent to Binance to get sold? And I bet they are running calculations. They're figuring out what is the percentage of people that are actually selling it back onto the open market. They're watching volume profiles. Where is a massive volume profile of selling? It's not there. And I think they probably got their green light, and I bet there was a lot of research and preparation for that particular moment in time. And I think they already knew there really wasn't a big threat from that. And it just didn't seem like it. You would think that price would have moved down if there was a threat of selling. And we're instead fighting for the top of a big fat breakout happening right now, which will be interesting. And we could head into an exciting week just merely because of what we're looking at here over on the total market cap. Range height has been broken here, right? It's back tested it yesterday. Today, big fat green day over here in the market. There's the potential for this thing to get carried away a little bit. It definitely has the potential for that for an exciting day today. So I'm going to be staring at some charts today. But again, on a bigger time frame for long-term perspective, gold, stock market, what are you looking at? We just got the stock market to open. So Dow is up 43 points. Nothing too substantial there, right? So we're looking at futures trend. There's your live action Dow trend. S&P up 12 points. NASDAQ up 92. So a little bit better for NASDAQ. Coinbase on the top of the list. There you go. 3.4% for Coinbase, followed by Netflix and Google. Yields down. Silver, how are you doing? 25.79. So amazing day over here. Oh, let's look at the DXY. Oh, there we go. DXY back down to the lows in plunging fashion. So here we go. I remember getting all the comments up here. People freaking out, totally panicked. Normal retail behavior. There we go. So now all the watching is about what happens as this zone gets entered into right here. This, like we talked about yesterday, I brought this up yesterday, is that with the US dollar currency index, all that crypto action happened in here, right? So this is November. This is December right here. So Bitcoin breaks out into its new all-time high. Altcoins run. Tesla, retail, laser eyes, and diamond hands. All that stuff happens in this circle right in here. So we saw the DXY fall all year long. Yes, we had bottomed at that point right there after the C19 sell-off. But all the crazy action of crypto happened down here. Whereas like in 2017, we actually saw all the crazy action happen the whole way down. We actually only saw the crazy action of crypto happen as we were at the bottom. And even after it had already bottomed, it came back in for its second bottom here on the DXY. So we're now kind of entering that phase. If this is an appropriate wave count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 5, 6, back to wave 4, and 7. Right. So if that's the case, then we're kind of entering into that level of just like we were back there. So could be an exciting time close ahead. Economic calendar, like we said, we had the PPI come out today, producer price index. Those numbers just absolutely crushed it month over month, year over year. Look how far down the PPI is year over year. And look back to historical action at 2.7%. We're lower than times we were in 2018 now. So have we slayed the inflation dragon? That's the question. You do have a negative 0.5% month over month, and that was replaced a 1.6%, right? So when we look at that number, we think to ourselves, wow, there must have been a significant change that happened in inflation in the last month. But that's why it didn't surprise us to see these big falls, right? And it wasn't a big surprise yesterday to see a bigger fall happen over there in the CPI numbers, because we know the very simplicity of these calculations of year over year is that we're going to go knock out that last number, the last 12 months, right? So we're going to knock out that 13th month. Right now, the one that got knocked out here is April of 2022, which is at 1.6% over here for PPI. You replace a 1.6% with a negative 0.5%, you're going to knock over 2% off of the year over year number, which is what we saw, right? We go from 4.9% to 2.7. It's over 2% of a drop that happens in there. Seems significant. Seems like there was something that happened in particular this month. Nothing really in particular happened this month outside of, hey, a negative 0.5 is pretty dramatic, but it's also because the largest reading of the last 10 years, right there, that April one, that's the one that got knocked out of the year over year. So just kind of a little perspective. And so that's why, like, when we go to next month's reading, right, there's going to be one of the smaller readings. And we talked about this yesterday, is that next, like when we look for the May reading of 2022, it was only a 0.4%, right? So whatever we get next time, unless we get another negative 0.5 or something like that, but let's say we get a 0.3 or a 0.4, we won't see that big of a dramatic move in the year over year number next month, right? Because we're not knocking out the highest reading of all time like we did right here in April. That was the highest reading of 10 years, right? But then the next 2 months after that are June and our July. That's where we really start to see the real numbers start to settle in. So again, I'm cool to see the number fall, but the mathematics of it all worked out that way for both CPI and PPI because the April 2022 number got knocked out. Just remember, next month, we will likely not see too dramatic of a change in CPI or PPI because those readings were fairly low for May back in 2022. So whatever we replace them with our next readings, likely not a big impact unless it's some big surprise like this again and a big negative number again. Otherwise, it's going to be those June and July readings, and especially at the end of July where we take a look at it and say, boom, here we go. This is it. This is our like real inflation number right now at the end of when we get our reading in July. So that's what we're waiting on. That's still 3 months away from right now. All right, over there onto the news in crypto as Ethereum is fighting $2,000, gold is fighting $2,040, and Bitcoin's still hovering there above $30,000, and XRP still kind of struggles right there in that area we've been talking about for some time. Over there in the news, the thing, of course, was the Shanghai upgrade or post-Shapella upgrade that happened last night, making it so that Ethereum unlocks happen. People are able to unlock their staked Ethereum they've had staked for a couple of years, giving them the opportunity to be able to sell it should they decide to do it on the open market. Obviously, the market did not price that in as being a threat, and prices are rising. So this reminds me a lot of the Grayscale. Remember the Grayscale thing from back in 2021? I forget what it was. There was a Grayscale unlock, right? You remember that back in here? And maybe it was right here in July, like around July 19th or 20th or something like that. The market was really terrified of a Grayscale unlock, and it was the fact that there was the worry of the situation, the FUD that was created about the situation created, like when nothing ended up happening from it, it was really positive news that nothing happened from it. And it's curious to say, are we in the same situation right now? That so much FUD, so much worry, so much trash talking about what's going to happen when all this Ethereum gets released. And now it's been released and we're not seeing the selling pressure from it. So is no news good news? Was it sell the rumor, buy the news, right? It's the opposite, right? It was, instead of being hyped, right? A hype and then sell off, it was a FUD and then buy up, right? So we'll see. Yesterday, this is just goofball stuff to me. FTX has magically found $7.3 billion in assets and is going to reconsider rebooting their exchange. Anybody who considers using that exchange, like there's nothing I could do for you, man. You just need to like unsubscribe from my YouTube channel because like you're not helpable. Like you're never going to make it, dude, if you even consider using FTX again. Geez. Oh, look at that. EOS gets in the headlines there. EOS Network lands a $60 million investment in partnership with DWF Labs. I'll have to check on that later. But there you go, EOS people. ERC20 tool recovers 150 million. Coinbase, okay, whatever. Chappella upgrade. Community celebrates. So there we go. That's our news over there. Let's take a look over here at CoinDesk. Ether crosses 2K. Yep, we all know that. I don't really ever find, you know what? CoinDesk is too hard to navigate. I like Cointelegraph because I just come on here. There's 5 things I can look at. If I want to go further, I can go further. If I get 5 things, there's hot stories, right? ChatGPT, FTX, Bitcoin holds 30K, Chappella, Bitcoin. Yeah, these are like, okay, that's like the big news, right? We just cover it really fast. I come over here to CoinDesk. And mind you, I'm going to Consensus, hosted by CoinDesk. But it's a little difficult to navigate this, especially in a situation like right here, right now. I'm live. Let's see what the news is. Near is coming to Consensus. Kraken leads Ether unstaking parade, makes up to 62% of exit queue. Yeah, not hard to really see anything going on over here on CoinDesk. Anything over here on Bloomberg? U.S. producer prices fell in March by the most since the start of the pandemic. Yep, that was a big number. We just went over that. JP Morgan has made deep cuts to metals business after the nickel crisis. Nothing really big going on here. Let's see what made-up story CNBC has for why the stocks are up. Stocks rise as another report points to cooling inflation. Here's what even a mild recession would look like for stocks. Fed expects banking crisis to cause a recession this year, the minutes show. Jim Cramer's top 10 things to watch in the stock market on Thursday. Top 10 things to avoid. All right. Oh, there we go. Hey, guys, look at that. DXY. Even closer to getting that breakdown. All right, Dow Jones. So look at that. We have the Dow now just about flat. So 0.03%, the S&P 0.32%, and the NASDAQ up 0.87%. Netflix, Coinbase, and ARK are leading the day so far. Coinbase sitting there nearly 3%. Yields down. Metals up. Gold at $2,041. Silver at $25.86. Bitcoin still holding there at $3,261. Ethereum still fighting at that $2,000 at $1,999. You've seen that bounce around the whole time we've been live here for about 30 minutes, and I've been running my mouth without answering any questions and just keeping on going. Total 2. This is the thing I'm watching. This is optimistic, guys. Range breakout. Yesterday's the back test. There's a chance for that thing to get a nice little pop going on right there. So that'll be interesting to watch today. But XRP is still just hovering right in that rangy stuff in there. But I think the big one to watch today is going to be Ethereum. Is Ethereum going to get its full-blown breakout today? That'll be the thing to watch as the Bitcoin dominance has taken a step back from the range height. Again, 4th visit to the top after 4 visits to the bottom. Will it reject again? The big question. Otherwise, our big economic data is really showing after we get CPI. What was CPI down to yesterday? Was it down to 5%? Or were we down to 4%? I can't remember. Let's go back to yesterday. So much data. We were down to 5%, right? CPI was down to 5. And then now producer price index, which is the leader of the CPI, down to 2.7. So here we go, guys. I think that covers it. I think that's how you cover everything in 28 minutes. If you liked it at all, please consider hitting the thumbs up button. I know, Eric. Yeah, let's do it. Thumbs up. Thanks, guys. All right, so I think that covers it all. Bitcoin is still holding up there after its short squeeze that took place a few days ago. Pretty surprising to still see it holding up there, so I'm keeping my eyes on that. Ethereum's going for breakout. Attempting to, right? We don't know if it's going to right now or not, but it's getting back to that range. But we do know that the total market cap of all of crypto did break out 4 days ago, and yesterday was the back test, and today is a continuation. So it could be an exciting day today, and if not, tomorrow. So I'm pretty interested in the markets right now. It's not boring, right? We just spent 3 weeks doing boring. These are a couple of interesting things. A breakout with a back test, and now are we getting ready to go shuffling? So XRP though, yeah, we're still ranging there for XRP. All right, that seems to be it. That really covers the big stuff in there. Let's go ahead and hop into the chat. Let's hop into Super Chats. I know people want me to play the frog today. Trust me, I want to play the frog too, but I mean, it's been a while since the whole market's been nice and green like this, but man, that frog's got to be important, and I don't want to upset too many people, and I love the frog, but this way I can play the frog a silly amount of times on Wednesday, and nobody can give me a hard time for it because I love it. But all right, let's hop on into it. Answer some questions here. Oscar Hernandez, like usual, first one on the set. Thank you so much, Oscar. Jack, member 17 months. Good morning, BC backer. Let's see that gold chart. Yeah, that's what we looked at, man, right? Gold. Whoa, boy. Whoa, Nelly. Thank you so much, Jack. And Oscar again. Can you see the Cowboys stats asking for XRPP? Like the Dallas Cowboys? Does XRPP like the Dallas Cowboys? I can't imagine XRPP liking the Dallas Cowboys. Anyway, thanks, Oscar. Supporter every day. Eddie, thank you so much. And your first super chat. Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate it. That happens quite often. The first one, people don't put something in there. And then they usually, the second time they get it figured out. If there's something you want to say, let me know. Chris Long, 702. Would you be able to describe some of the content we can expect in your new course? Thanks, PCB. Yeah. Oh boy, it's so much, and I've got so little done. And so, like, just so you guys know, the videos are going to be very few and in between for the next couple of weeks as I'm getting ready for consensus, getting ready to go to XRP Las Vegas, and I'm recording videos every day, just on my end, building them up in here. But yeah, it's going to be, understanding charts. You're accessing all of the charts and indicators within TradingView, the common and the effective tools, and kind of going through each one of them individually, different types of chart patterns and ranges, to really discussing Wyckoff accumulation and distribution. And one requested by many, we're going to talk about Elliot Wave theory. Elliot Wave is one of those things you can dive into super deep. So it's definitely going to just kind of be getting the basics down of Elliot Wave theory, and then providing additional context to be able to further research it. And that's just one thing you'll have to learn about Elliot Waves. You could spend a ridiculous amount of time in them, but it's important, in my opinion, to know the basics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABCs, and retraces. Those are pretty important things to know about Elliot Waves. So we're going to dive into that. There's a few videos on that. Then we're going to talk about really applying a lot of these things in the real world. So going back through a lot of the crypto charts, a lot of the history of the cryptocurrency chart, and applying a lot of these things that we're talking about on historical behavior of the cryptocurrency market. Lessons learned, right? Last course we talked about lessons learned from 2017. We're talking about a lot of lessons learned from 2021. Try to apply all those things together, and taking a look at the market in general. And then I think one of the important things is section on talking about research, right? A lot of times we say, "Hey, I love this coin. I love this coin," and then even here in the channel, we're like, or in these live streams, being like, "Well, the inflationary rate's out of control." So there's a series of things that I look at when I'm looking at coins too, and I'm going to kind of show those on charts on how to be able to find things and kind of research coins and take a look at those inflationary rates and other statistics. And find vesting schedules and things like that on coins. And then lastly, just additional resources. And this is going to be a long course. So I'm trying to break it down into a lot of different sections, because there may be people who don't need certain sections, right? But there may be a section that people want. But it's long, man. And I got a long ways to go. So I'm trying my best here. But there you go, gold at 2044. We're nowhere near it, though. It's going to require me weeks more of me just grinding it out. $39 again, Operation XRP. Take me a couple 100 hours to build this thing. But the point of me doing it is like it's always been. And I've made mistakes as a YouTuber, right? But one of the things I know I made the right decision was making it that anybody can afford it, right? No monthly subscription fee, no recurring payments, nothing like that. 39, that's what it is. I just want as many people to access it as possible. So, but we're not there yet. Got a long ways to go. All right. But there you go, Chris Long. I hope that answered your question. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk about it. When? It's weeks away. My goal is to have it up by the end of April, but I'm nowhere close to it right now. All right. Luke, thanks for all. Luke Spielman, thanks for all you do, BCB. Thank you very much, Luke. Appreciate the kind words. And tell you guys, those kind words go a long way, man. You guys can hear me when I screw up a little bit and I get a little grumpy sometimes and I kind of trash talk a little bit because, you deal with a lot of the negative too, but the kind words go a long way. Appreciate it every time you guys do it. Oscar Hernandez again, 1.5. Don't forget to hit the like button. That's right. We're at 534 likes with 1.6 people in here. Jeff DeHoff. Wow. DeHoff. I don't want to miss. Jeff, thank you, man. That's very generous. A long-time listener. You share enough wisdom and tons of comfort when I'm doubting my plan. No question. Just wish we had more days or 2-hour streams. Best wishes to you and your family. And well, the last 2 streams have been 2 hours. I think I'm going to make it a point today. We are not going to cross above 1 hour. That's going to be my goal today. And then right after, Jeff, thank you very much. It was very kind. Right after that, Thomas Campbell, ridiculously generous. Thomas, thank you very, very much. You show you want to miss the smaller percentages above retracements. BTM 702, 240% gain. Yeah, bottom to 702 is 240% gain. 702 to all-time high shows 30% gains missed. Shouldn't we measure both from the bottom or a DCA? So the bottom minus the all-time high, 340%, meaning we actually missed 100% gains. Just trying to do the math. Much love. Well, okay, so yeah, if you base it off of what your initial investment would be, yes. So if your number is going based off of here, like let's say you put $100 in here, right? Put 100. You rise up. You get here. So you make 200% gains. Just make the number very round. 200% gains means you're now at 300, right? But should you have gone to here, you would have gone to 4. So your opportunity is the loss of 100, right? So that's what you're pointing to, right? But in the end, I can't think about that original number anymore. I have to start thinking about that one and protecting that one. I'm pretty sure that is an answer to your question. You missed 100%. You're missing 100% based off that original number, but this original number is no longer relevant. This is your number now, and that's the one to protect for me. So I think that should answer that question, Thomas. If not, type in the chat. It was very generous, Thomas, man. Thank you. Lil John 14. With all the FUD on BUD and people boycotting it, made me look at the chart in the weekly. Oh boy. I don't know what that is. Careful. I slipped up. I don't know what that coin was. We always have to be careful of pump and dubbers coming in here. Let me see what that is. I don't even know what that is. It's not even in TradingView. Ignore that guy. I don't know what that is. His first super chat, and it's a coin that is not even in TradingView. Love your content. Sober since 9/28. Well, you do listen, man, but I don't know what that is, man. I'm going to look it up on CoinMarketCap, and that's going to tell me the real story. It's not even on CoinMarketCap, dude. Oh. There it is. A DEX pair. Yeah, that thing was like just released today. No, man. No. Danger. Don't touch that. All right. Chris Perez. Terse. Bitcoin dominance get rejected, and Bitcoin dominance plus ETH dominance at 200-week MA. There we go. I could see Ethereum really outperforming Bitcoin right now. Imposter Fern Hernandez. I thought that was going to be someone like Aaron. All right, Oscar. Where's my huevos? Thank you, Imposter Fern Hernandez. Thank you very much. Linton Dell, thank you very much. Can you explain diminishing returns on happiness again, please? I can't find the video where you explain it. I'm looking forward to your new course. Any ideas on a date? I think I just answered that, but the shooting for the end of April. But yes, I will be happy to talk about the diminishing laws of happiness. And I think everybody should listen to this. If you care about anything that I talk about, forget all this stuff. None of this stuff matters, man. You are not going to find happiness in here. We are all chasing a false happiness. And there's really only a couple of things in life that will make you happy. That means a roof over your head, a vehicle for transportation, people to love, food, water, and that's it. This is 90% of your happiness. So, do you live in a 500 square foot box? And you think you would be significantly happier if you lived in a 3,000 square foot box? Well, how about the guy with no roof who lives under a bridge? How much happier is this guy in the 500 square foot house or 500 square foot box? How much happier is he than he? Exponentially. There's no measurement. The measurement of your energy, especially if you have heating, if you have air conditioning, and you're inside of a building and you have somewhere safe to sleep at night and to rest and put your head down, you are massively, massively, massively happier than the guy with no roof. However, your 500 to your 3,000 square foot house only makes you slightly happier. Slightly. It makes you happier, but absolutely nowhere compared to being this guy to being this guy. So you actually have most of your happiness already met because this is misery. Vehicle for transportation, same story. If you don't have a way to get around and you're stuck, how much happier is the guy who has a 1992 Corolla with 400K miles versus the guy with no car? This guy can get wherever he wants to go. This guy cannot. This guy has freedom. This guy does not. If this guy moves over to a 2018 Ram 2500 with leather, he will be happier. But will it be anywhere different between this guy and this guy? No. Not even close. He will be happier, but there's a big difference between having no vehicle and having a vehicle. So being appreciative and gratitude that you have the vehicle, appreciative and in gratitude that you have the roof. We want the nicer things, but it doesn't mean that it's going to make you significantly happier. Because in these examples, 90% of your actual happiness is already satisfied because misery exists here. Misery exists here. Or even if you don't have a bike or anything, a motorcycle, anything, transportation, if you don't have it, you're miserable because you lost your freedom. People to love. Money is not going to buy that. We may think that I'm going to get all this money, I'm going to put on a flashy watch, and then someone's going to fall in love with me. Unlikely, right? Focusing on people to love and people to care about you is going to be incredibly important, and most of your happiness is actually found in there. These are important, but finding this stuff right here, being appreciative of your mom caring about you, being appreciative of your sister being there, or your cousin who's there for you, or a really close group of friends that you have that are there for you. Most of your happiness is actually found in there. Food and water, it should be undebatable. Who is happier? The person with no food or the person who eats rice and beans? The rice and beans guy, that's his awful handwriting. You're going to have to deal with that. The rice and beans guy is super tired of eating it, but he's a lot happier than the guy who has no food. However, if we head over here and we start eating filet mignon, we start eating grilled shrimp, we start having fettuccine Alfredo made with real whipping cream, none of that canned stuff. Yes, you'll be happier, but you'll eventually get tired of it. You'll get bored of it as well. And your happiness is not going to be anywhere different between the guy who has food versus the guy who has no food. So, water, unquestionable. You're going to die if you don't have it. It's going to be a part of misery of your life having to search for it if you don't have it. So the point of it being is that if you can remain in gratitude and recognize that actually not having these things, not having a place to sleep, not having any way to get around, not having people to care about, and not having food or water, all of these things right here make up 90% of your happiness if you actually have them. The moving beyond that to get slightly better or nicer is chasing diminishing returns, because most of your happiness was gotten by coming off ground zero. You will get slightly happier by 10% while you constantly chase those last couple of percentage points with that new shiny car, with that bigger house, with those granite countertops, with that fancier food, or your bottled smart water. Just having these things in the first place is going to make up 90% of it. Once you can recognize that, once you can appreciate it and remain in gratitude for having it, you can live a much easier life and not worry so much about 10%. Just have gratitude that you have these, because you're chasing the heroin dragon. You're not going to get it. If you need these things to think that you're going to get happier by getting them nicer, it's just not going to happen. I think a lot of us can know that too, right? I mean, like, we've all gotten, like, not everybody, but you've gotten a new car before. Yeah, it made you slightly happier for a little while, but it didn't change your life and like make you super happy, right? I mean, like, having a nicer house is nice. Like, you are slightly happier, but like not like when you like didn't have a roof. And just remembering these things, like, this is your importance. Remain in gratitude for having these things and not being so worried about that last 10%. So we could do all this stuff, but just remember, just the money, however you plan on spending it. If you're going to spend it to get yourself a roof over your head, you're going to spend it to get some clean drinking water or to get your first vehicle, then yeah, man, like, that's going to make you probably super happy. But just there you go. That's it. Ryan Rendon, more bigger house equals more rooms to lose keys. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So there you go. Thank you, Linton. I went off on that one pretty long. And that was your first super chat. Thank you. Gino D'Amelio. Thank you very much, Gino. It's generous. BCB, I think you said that Bitcoin dominance will tell the story of whether Bitcoin breaks through retrace levels or drops from retrace levels once price gets there. Can you please elaborate? Also, when is your course going to launch? Everybody asking about the course. That's cool. Glad to hear. Kind of worried. You work a whole lot on this thing. Like, I don't know if anybody's going to want this thing. Yeah. So, like, we've always talked about that there's only two circumstances in which Bitcoin dominance drops. And the only two circumstances we've ever seen alt seasons occur, and we've ever seen Bitcoin dominance drop or alt seasons occur, is two ways. One is that Bitcoin's heading into a retracement, or two, if Bitcoin is breaking into an all-time high. So if Bitcoin dominance is falling as we go back into this retracement, what does that say? Like, in every other circumstance, it would mean that this is the end of the market. This is money leaving Bitcoin. It's getting rotated around the market. We're not going to get through. If Bitcoin dominance is falling during this moment, right? If we get back up in here, right? We could still keep moving up here and nothing happens with dominance. But if we get up in here and finally that Bitcoin dominance goes and breaks down and it's getting out of here as we're into these retracements, it's a bad sign for long-term Bitcoin. However, if Bitcoin dominance maintains itself and holds itself, it provides a better shot that it's actually going to go for an all-time high. So if you're cheering for a Bitcoin all-time high, you're actually cheering for Bitcoin dominance to stay under control, calm down, don't fall, relax as the price moves back up. And if the Bitcoin dominance starts to fall into the retracements, we are watching the rotation out of Bitcoin and the rotation of money flowing into higher yielding, higher risk altcoins. So yeah, that's it. These are the only times you see Bitcoin dominance fall, either at this moment or in this moment. And if it's happening in this moment right in here, it is signaling that's not coming. So there we go. Nandini plays. I remember you were first timer yesterday. Thank you, Nandini. Shout out to Nandini and sister Karina, XRP Moon. Thank you, Nandini. Code 9, no message, but what's up? Thank you very much. Michael, thank you very much. How do you know that XRP is eventually going to hit a 4.62 retracement when the time comes? Right, so I don't know. That's just how I've measured my best guess. Is that is how high it can go based on a wave 4 into a wave 5 breakout. We've actually done a lot of stats on this. I'm gonna make it quick. We'll go to XRP market cap. So in 2019, 2020, obviously we all know it. My target for XRP, $13 range. Why? 4.236 extension. Essentially applied the same methodology throughout the rest of the market, applied that same methodology to Bitcoin, applied the same methodology to Ethereum. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum went on to hit it, sold them both up there in those retracement levels or in those extension levels. They turned out being right. XRP still lagged behind, never got its breakout, but both Bitcoin and Ethereum did it. And not only did they do it and get up there, it's totally where they got rejected. We all know this. Bitcoin market cap. Of course, at this time, everybody's screaming, blockchain backer, why don't you use log-based fibs? We should be going 9,000% higher to $48 million. But no, it was just trying to be realistic and say, hey, 4.236 extensions are typical rejection levels, right? And we saw that for Bitcoin and we saw that for Ethereum. And I had spent years prior to this discussing about that this was my target. So it wasn't new. Even during the C19 sell-off and the C19 chaos, everybody that was a rough time in crypto. People were very pessimistic of what the future was going to come. If you remember, we were under lockdowns. We were getting unemployment checks. Same thing, people trying to read narratives like they were trying to read the Fed. Blockchain backer, don't you understand? 22% unemployment. Everybody's receiving stimulus checks in the mail. Unemployment's record high. And people are worried about if they're going to be okay. Like people are worried that they could die. And how could you possibly sit there and talk about us going up that high? Same thing with the Fed, right? This is the very first 75 basis point rate hike, but that the Fed did here in June of 2022. All the 75 basis point rate hikes we've done since, all the 50s, 25s, all that good stuff. Price still continues to move up higher. But in the end, even in this C19 target saying, hey, look, 4.236 extension. That's just my target. That's where I'm heading for. It's where we get to. It's where they reject. You can check the receipts, man. You can go watch all my videos from back then. You know, the evidence is left behind. And in my last course, I had updated the day this happens. And you can go check my tweets, the day of the top for Ethereum. Where is it? November 10th. You go check my tweets. You'll see I made my final update on Ethereum that day. That was as high as I would think that it would go. So I tweeted it on that day. I also made a exit plan video update on November 10th. The danger has arrived. Here we are. But we saw that on Bitcoin. And XRP. You're gonna have to ignore this right here. Ignore this, how high this goes. This is an API issue that CoinTrader Pro had with Coinbase last month. So we didn't actually reach that high. We've kind of installed here, but either way, the goal was exact same methodology, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, 4.236 extension. Just kind of like the narratives we deal with in the XRP community, right? We deal with peg to gold, Federal Reserve buyback, all the money, even in 2019 and 2020, like the perfect title to a video that people would make, it would have to have like very specific keywords. 3 keywords in particular was that you would always wanted to put in there, and I saw it nonstop. You'd have to have Trump, you'd have to have gold, and you'd have to have quantum financial system all in the title of your video. None of that mattered, man. The same thing goes for Bitcoin. Same thing goes for Ethereum. You get all the way up to those 4.236 extensions. It doesn't matter how strong your diamond hands are, how lasery your laser eyes are, or how much you think Elon and Tesla buying Bitcoin mattered. The 4.236 extension was a rejection. So my target is still 4.236 extension based on the market cap. Now, is there anything on why you would say, hey, man, why that number in particular still? I mean, yeah, you got it over there. You got it. You got it on Ethereum. You got it on Bitcoin. Well, let's do this. I've brought this up before, too. Ethereum market cap. Let's see. Are you going to behave? I don't like this. Why does this look like this? I'm looking at XRP market cap and Ethereum market. Okay, I'm on percentage or something. Take off log. This isn't right. Okay, no, here's how we do it. We go Bitcoin market cap. I don't know why this one isn't in log. That's going to be annoying because that's not right. No. Okay, let's do it over here. Bitcoin market cap. Let's see if it's going to let me compare Ethereum market cap. Trading views mess with their stuff. Remember how I used to always show the charts where I'd have all of the market caps lined up together? Remember? And then we'd put XRP on here and we'd see XRP catch up. Oh, that's why. That's why. We're good, guys. We're good. We're good. Compare. Beautiful. Beautiful. Here we go. Sorry, guys. Had to figure that out for a minute. Market cap. There we go. All right. So what are we talking about? We're talking about 4.236 extension for XRP. Is there any other confluence to say, hey, it's potentially, it could reach that high, or it could potentially reach out to that price level? And the things that we have seen is we've seen really the highest XRP can ever go. Again, this is not great for the Trump, gold, quantum financial system crowd, is that really we've only historically ever caught up to Ethereum and not been able to do much more than that. So if you kind of use that methodology and say, hey, all right, look, we can catch Ethereum. Right in here, you can see XRP in yellow catching up to Ethereum. You can see us catching up to Ethereum. You can see us like getting there, but really we just kind of stay within it. There's never really a point in which we like blast past Ethereum. It's kind of like the market cap of Ethereum is the rotational boundary of how high it can possibly go for XRP, right? So like if you pretended that that's going to be a boundary, but that XRP could still catch up to the Ethereum market cap, then how high could it go from its current location, right? Its current location to catch Ethereum is 8 times current price. Well, current price is 50 cents, right? So that add $4, that puts you at about $4.50. If Ethereum ends up getting up into retracement levels, we see Bitcoin going into retracement levels, we see Ethereum going into retracement levels, and that it's up in here in this moment, as we saw back in here at the peak of the market back in here, where XRP was able to catch Ethereum at the peak moment. what would happen to price if we actually caught up to it right there, right? How high would we go? 900, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, about 15. So 15.5 times current price, right? So you're at 0.51. Are we at 0.5? 0.509, 0.51 times 15.5 plus 0.51. That would put you at $8.41 right now for an actual perfect catch, right? So an actual perfect catch pushes you at 8.41. Has there ever been times where it does go slightly beyond it? Yes, it doesn't actually have to like exactly catch it. It can go slightly behind it, beyond it, then stop, and then it rotates over to Ethereum. But it's not perfect. There are times it can get beyond it, right? Let's go back over here, right? At this particular moment in time, we are beyond. We're not just a little beyond, right? What are you beyond? 88%. The market cap of XRP is 88% higher than Ethereum right in here. How high are we right here at the biggest gap that we've had? The biggest gap is right there. 35% higher, right? So what number did we say? 841, right? 841 with a 35% rise. Like, we'll take the smaller of the two, 35% versus the other one, which was 88. We'll do the smaller one, 35. So $8.41 times 1.35. What is that? $11.36, right? So a catch up to Ethereum, even maybe a slight temporary passing of Ethereum into a retracement moment of a market top gets you to $11.36. Okay, so we'll remember that number, $11.36. Let's get everything off the screen. Come on. There we go. 1136. Yeah. Hold on. Can I do this? Can I get everything back on the screen that I just had? Bingo. Right? Let's do this. We'll just clean it up like this. Here's XRP. The problem is this is going to cut off short. We can't do it like this. We have to go in here. So we said 1136, right? Let's remember that. XRP market cap. All right, there we go. What is the current supply of XRP right now? What's the circulating supply? Okay, 600. And what is that? Somebody told me 60 billion. Is that right? 600 billion? That's what it is. It's 600, right? Eric's baby's joining tomorrow. Yeah, man. We're almost done with this, guys, and then we're moving on. XRP circulating supplies of 51.75 billion. So if we get to a $600 billion market cap, 600 billion divided by current circulating supply, 51, 750, 810, 378. With the current circulating supply of a 4.236 extension. So if we have 51.75 billion XRP in circulation and a market cap that reaches a 4.236 extension, as we saw for Bitcoin, as we saw for Ethereum, This would be a catch up to Ethereum with a slight bypass, as we saw the last two times, but using the smaller of the two, saying 33% rather than 88. What is a $600 billion market cap divided by 51.75 billion supply? It's $11.59. And what was the number we came up with? 1136. So the confluences and the resistance of it, like, will we get here? I don't know if we're going to get here, but if we get here, am I going to expect more? No, I won't. That'll be the limit of how high I can look at, because two major conditions will have happened, especially three major conditions. If we've got Ethereum in retrace, you have Bitcoin in retrace, and you have XRP taking off at that time, that's a bad sign. Like, it's, of course, fantastic. Price is rising. It's all good. But it's saying that a dark moment is probably coming for the market here in the future pretty soon. So you would have retrace surge. You would be catching up to Ethereum, and you would be hitting 4.236 all at the exact same time. That would just be the time to say that's it. That's as far as I could think it could go. Even if I'm fully convinced, we go here, and we're going back there, which I don't think we're going to go back down that far. But even if I did, it still would only, for me, because I have my own exit plans picked out, still only 65% of my XRP gets sold here. But if we get here, and I think we're going even higher, still 65% of my XRP will be sold by the time we get here. So if that day comes, if that exciting moment does come, I watched what happened with Bitcoin. I watched what happened with Ethereum. I spent years talking about those being my targets for Bitcoin and for Ethereum. Then when we finally got there and I started selling, man, it was just, people turned very negative. I would hope the XRP community wouldn't do that when we get there after talking about it for years. This has been my plan. I'm like real clear with you. Hey, I'm selling 65%. I will be 65% out by the time we get there. That once we finally get there, if there's going to be a bunch of people who are saying, traitor, no, man, I was rallying the troops for years, man. But yeah, that's why this level, it's an Ethereum market cap catch up on a retracement for Bitcoin and a retracement for Ethereum. And it's a 4.236. That's just how high I could think it could go. So you ask, why do I think it could go there? Because of confluence of what happened with the rest of the market, as Ethereum and Bitcoin both did reach those targets. And when I formulated these plans years ago, it was the same plan for all three, for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and for XRP, 4.236 extensions. For some reason, Bitcoin and Ethereum went. Did the lawsuit play into something like that? Maybe so. But it doesn't change that that's still it. And that this has the potential of wave 4, right? This is just like Ethereum. This is just like Bitcoin. From 2018 through 2020. This is just like Ethereum. This is just like Ethereum in 2017 from like June through December. And this is just like XRP from 2014 through 2017 with a crash, retrace, reaccumulation. And even in these structures, right, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, what is it? This is a wave 4, this wave 4 consolidation, and a wave 5 extension is 4.236. So that is my target. That's what I'm hoping for. And nothing's changed. Still stick to it. And I get asked a lot about, we're always looking at this, right? But then people say, hey, but what about that fractal that you're showing there, man? Look how high that thing goes. I know it's a beautiful fractal. I won't be focusing on that. It will still be the same story for me. It would be 65% at, by $11.36. So there you go. That's the answer. long answer. And I've bypassed an hour already and failed even at that. I cannot get my timing down on this thing. So, okay, we're going to keep moving. But thank you, Michael. Hope that answered your question. Terrence, but I know a lot of people probably wanted to hear that. So that's why I did go long-winded on that one. It's been a little while since we've talked about that. Terrence Rafferty. Do you think XRP will backtest 46 to 44 before Moon? I would believe so. Terrence. We've been talking about this for a couple of weeks. I would think we would even close all the way gaps and get back into the 30s before. So Janice, that's a good question. Will you still inform us about exits in your course for assets so you're not anymore? Yeah, so like that course has been closed for a year for an enrollment. April marks 1 year. I think that's one reason why I've set a hard deadline that I want to put a new one out. I haven't had a course open for a whole year. I haven't had sponsors on the channel for 7 months. It's just time to get that going. But I still continue to do the monthly updates over there on the original course, even though there's no new enrollment. I haven't missed a single month for you guys. Still a whole year's worth of updates every month for you guys. And like I said, there's no recurring cost to that thing. It was $39, and I still just kept on doing it for a whole year. And yeah, exactly. So retrace, once we get into retrace, once I start doing stuff, make all my last little updates in there. And then for sure, yep. Even with the new course being out, there will still be those updates to the old one. And even though it's been closed for a year, it's still just part of me that I just want to see it to the end. All right, I've got to move fast because I still have a lot. Oh my gosh. Okay, thank you, Janice. Mr. Nobody. Hi, BCB. Could you include how you do market cap to spot price conversion in your updated course? Let me write that down. Market cap to spot price conversion, like I just did. Yeah, so you have to kind of figure out what the current circulating supply is, and you kind of have to so one thing too is we said $11.36, right? And we base that off of what, for 51.75 billion circulating supply. Well, guess what? By the time that happens, if that ever happens, do you think the circulating supply of XRP is going to be 51.75 billion? Likely not. We might be at 53, 54, 55, 56 billion circulating supply, which would actually reduce that number from 1136 to potentially lower. Maybe it gets down into the tens by the time that happens. So when the market cap's rising, paying attention to what is current circulating supply at this exact time. Fudlight says, what about the fact that XRP isn't easily purchased or sold as is? That's a good question. It hasn't impacted it from dropping out of the top 10 yet. Right? People can get it. Most of the world can get it. It's just those silly Americans that need to be protected, who can still figure it out if they try. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Somebody else said it too. The course is awesome. Appreciate it. It was a baby, my first baby. All right, Mr. Nobody. Yeah, that stuff will be included in there. Thank you, man. Terrence Rafferty, do you see the XRP case update with fair notice defense? Did you see the XRP case update with fair notice defense? Was that the thing that came out a couple of days ago? Is there something that came out today? Mr. James Filan. I'll just go check him out. I haven't seen anything new since a couple of days ago. So, yeah, I guess I've seen it. Nothing really impactful, right? Dr. Ty. One merch. I'll get to that in a minute. Eddie Ross. I got it now. Thank you, Eddie. I got it, and thank you, Terrence. I don't know really what to make of any particular updates that ever happened to the case. I'm just waiting for the answer to come out, and then where to go from then. Otherwise, I don't spend too much time focusing on the case. Eddie, you know what I am. I live and breathe in the charts. Show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. The chart says news comes here. So I wait. Eddie Ross, I got it now. I was asking, what if Bitcoin only retraces, but Ethereum goes into super cycle? Could we still see a longer bull market like people are expecting in 24-25? Also, have you heard of the real estate 18.4 year cycle? I have not heard of the real estate 18.4 year cycle. But it's an interesting idea, right? That if you look at Ethereum, the price chart of Ethereum is totally different, in a totally different place than where Bitcoin is. Bitcoin's done 3 major super cycles, which means it's done a 5 waver. First super cycle, then correction wave, then another super cycle, correction wave, and another super cycle. However, Ethereum has climbed up, potentially only wave 1. So we'll have to see if a dynamic shift happens in the market. Bitcoin's the only thing Bitcoin has is, hey, you just hold it, right? That's all it does. It doesn't do anything else. You just hold it. It's decentralized money. But are we going to see the advancement of the cryptocurrency industry? And I'm in belief of it, I'm in belief that we are. I don't think this train is going to stop. I think we're in a situation where the U.S. government has lost complete control of the narrative, of the dollar. I think a lot of people are worried that the U.S. government is going to be able to squash this train and regulate it into non-existence. I don't think it's even possible. I think they are doing everything they can to slow down the inevitable collapse. And this train has left without them. And I think this is nothing more than a delay tactic. And the writing is on the wall. But do I think this world is just Bitcoin? The chart doesn't say it's just Bitcoin. I think we're going to see other stuff happen in this market. But no, with the real estate stuff, I have not looked into it. I don't pay too much attention to real estate. Real estate pros don't even know what they're doing because I follow some on Twitter. We were supposed to have the real estate collapse, right? Interest rates rise. What happened? Like I said, I didn't think it was going to. I mean, it's because the real estate market is maybe not commercial real estate, but residential real estate. There is one variable that is bad for residential real estate, and it's how many retail traders, retail investors, moms and pops and dads and cousins, and everybody is like a landlord now, right? Like everybody's owns a second house for a recurring revenue stream. I've heard all the workshop commercials on the radio. Come to this conference. We all talk about it. People buying apartments and being landlords. There's so many normal people, right? The second there becomes a hiccup in the rental market where people aren't paying their rent or people aren't going on vacations and renting all these Airbnbs, that's where I think we'll start to see a little bit of faltering happening there in the market, because people who live in their houses, it's not a big deal, right? They refinance into super low interest rates. They're safely comfortable in their house. They have a ridiculous amount of equity built into their house, and their mortgage payment has been massively reduced because they refinanced down to 2.99%, coming off of whatever they had in 2014 through 2018, right? If they got a 7%, 6%, 5.4, whatever, getting back down into that 2s and those lower 3s. So the residential market of people who live in their houses, they're strong. They're real strong right now. But the people who have all these rental properties, Airbnbs, all this stuff, the second that market in particular of rentals and Airbnbs falters, these people are not like the residential people. You can't go 2 months without having somebody in the house. Then suddenly it's unprofitable to hold on to this thing any longer. And then I could see there becoming this mad dash of sellers who are normal everyday people who got convinced that get yourself a recurring revenue stream by buying a couple apartments and buying a house and renting it out and getting some Airbnbs. That's the sector I'm worried about being the one to falter the housing market. So I'm not worried about residential problems, but I think that's going to be the first signal of any type of issues in the housing market. And I'm not a real estate pro, but I think that's where the weakness is, whenever that happens. And I guarantee you, of the 1,614 people in here right now, probably a lot of people in here are landlords and own those second houses, own those apartments, own those Airbnbs. But if they've ever thought to themselves, what would happen if you had 4 months where somebody wasn't living in the house? There'd be a problem. And at the same time, there was so much buying of it in 2021 that were rental properties. Like, come on, man. Think about this. Here I'm ranting on something else, but think about this. And I got to wrap this stream up pretty soon once I finish these things. Try to get my words right here. When in 2021, like when I bought my first house, I bought it for like $140,000, right? First time home buyer. Like that was like out of my budget, man. My mortgage was like $1,500 a month. I was making $40K a year. Like that was like out of my budget. Mortgage, we're talking like including your escrow, right? Including your property taxes, you're including your homeowner's insurance, all that good stuff, including any of your mortgage, not just your principal and interest. And of course, PMI, because who's putting down 20% in 2007? Not me. Including a PMI in there as well, right? So 1,500. Now those same houses, like that same house that I got as my entry level first time house is $280,000. What young person can afford $280K? Like who can afford that? Like there's no way that can be an entry level house. And not only that, but these entry level houses are all in these bid wars. And who's winning the bid wars? People with cash. What cash buyer, what 25, 27-year-old is walking up with $250,000, $280,000 cash and winning a bid war? It's not. It's Airbnbers. It's people who are like, I'm going to be a landlord. So what happens when that market falters? That's the problem. And I'm not saying we are right now, but I think a lot of people focus on the wrong things. They focused on rising interest rates to slow down the housing market. I don't think it is. It's going to be another factor. It's going to be when people aren't doing Airbnbs, and it's going to be when renters aren't paying their rent. When the number starts getting really high of renters aren't paying their rent, that's where the housing market's going to struggle at. Because I think all of that buying, all of that bid warning that happened in 2021 was not suddenly everybody wants a house now. It's that suddenly everybody who already has a house wants a second house because they want to be a landlord. Otherwise, who the heck is coming up with $250,000, $300,000 to buy a 1,200 square foot entry level house? Who? And why on a single house are they getting 20 bids and 5 of them being cash? What 27, 25-year-old for an entry-level house is coming up with $280,000 cash? They're not. So I think that's what happened. All right, moving on. I can't do this anymore. I rant. Thank you, Eddie. Schmartenson. Did you change your name? You used to be... Is this not Oscar Hernandez who has changed to Schmartenson? Oh, Eric. Look what you have. Schmartenson. When BCB merch again, my socks have worn out. I did merch years ago. And it's always been this self-conscious thing. It's like weird about me to have my logo on something and people buy it, but people do buy it. So I don't know. Maybe at Christmas time. Oh, I don't know. We'll see. Can you set prices instead of here and there for people who are not seeing the screen? See you in Vegas. I try, man. I do my best. When I'm doing things in real time, it's hard, but that's a problem I've had for years. Try to say price, but I'll forget, and I'll point here and there and there and there, and yeah, I know, man. I'm sorry. It's just how it always has kind of been. But a reminder is always good. So a reminder here and there. I'll try to focus more on it. Thank you, CryptoView. OE76, hey BCB, any levels to watch for in Ethereum if it pumps? Well, the current level is pretty interesting, right? So first of all, anybody know what structure this looks like right in here? Like what is your pattern? And everybody loves the head and shoulders pattern. Everybody loves bull flags, bear flags. What type of reversal structure would you call this right here? Anybody know the name? Somebody might know. No, cup and handle, close, but no. Cup and handle is going to be when we're actually like moving up. So cup and handle is going to be like when we're up here. And then we build our cup and handle like that. Adam and Eve. There you go. Brian, the winner. Did anybody else get it before him? Adam and Eve. There you go. So watching to make sure that that's what this is right here. So you're looking for the same thing that you see over there in total market cap. Breakout, backtest, and then continuing on. But the thing to be mindful of is, first of all, this does look like Adam and Eve to me. This does look like big breakout to me. But the worst thing would be Wyckoff accumulation happening and then going into spring, right? That would be rough, right? So looking to see us get through here and only get through here, let's get a little bit higher. I think I'd feel more comfortable getting above 2,500 to completely rule this out. First of all, this is my belief. I do think this is the more likely one, that we are in full-blown breakout. We're not going into spring. But in order to like not think about that, I'd want to see us getting above 2,500. And like still, even if we get way up here, I expect we'll pull all the way back down here, but I won't be worrying about us coming way back down here again. I think a back test and then continuing on is the more likely thing. But I won't be worrying about this stuff down in here. So let's get higher. Let's get up into those 25s, 3,000s, and then start getting good. All right. Lil John, sorry, should have specified. It's Bud stock, not crypto. Oh, Anheuser. Yeah. I don't really want to touch that, man. I don't want to get into that topic. That is a heated topic right now. I'm just going to let the internet fight that one, brother. They're dealing with an issue. I don't think they've even tweeted in. Have they still not tweeted since April 1st? They haven't. Yeah. I went camping recently. There was a lot of people drinking beer there. Absolutely nobody would touch Bud Light, and everybody was cracking jokes at each other to say, you like Bud Light? No, you like Bud Light. If you don't catch my drift on that, yeah. So they're not doing too hot right now, but I don't really want to touch that topic. I'm going to avoid that one because it's a controversial topic, right? Texas takeover. Yeah, they've got themselves a little bit of a thing. And to not tweet for 12 days, if you go through their Twitter, they are normally very tweety. They're dealing with a sales crisis right now. Imposter Fernandez says, when Corolla, sir? When Corolla, sir? That'll be the joke, right? Anybody who watched the Laws of Diminishing Returns. All right. Adrian Storick, love the channel. Shout out to the one yogurt with the first ever super chat coming from Adrian. Whopping 42 minutes ago because I'm too slow and I have to catch up. I can't do these. I can't ramble anymore. I do have to catch up. Thank you for your first time, Adrian. What's up, the one yogurt? Marco Benavides, thank you so much. Been gone from the fun for a couple of months due to some health issues. Sure glad you're still here with us, man. That said, how do you think Flare's price will be affected when XRP finally goes on its run? Well, Flare and XRP are non-related. Also, there's a potential that people dump all their Flare and go into XRP. They're like, you know what? Forget all these things I've chased. Like, you know, the XRP community kind of has this whole laundry list of like, what are all the assets you should own if you're in the XRP community. You know, it's going to be QNT, Flare, VeChain, Casper, HBAR. What are the other ones that are like XRP specific? Stellar Lumens, right? Like if you own XRP, here's all your like side coins you should own too, right? It's like only XRP holders own all these. There's a potential all those get dumped and get pushed right back into XRP, right? So I don't really know. But yeah, I don't know. And as for Flare, they got the supply dynamic issue thing. I know a lot of, oh, by the way, yeah, Coinbase announced yesterday that they have started distributing Flare. I checked my Coinbase wallet. I do have it. I still can't withdraw it yet. I don't know if they said like 72 hours until you can withdraw your Flare. But do realize as well that adds additional sell pressure. How many people did not set up, their stuff in the XRP toolkit? How many people did not keep it on BitTrue back during the snapshot back in 2020? A lot of people just sent it on in over there to Coinbase. So this is an additional supply shock happening to the market. People were very bullish yesterday when they're like, "Oh my gosh, Flare," because they're also going to allow trading of Flare, so buying and selling of Flare. But remember, this is also a massive supply shock again happening to the market for Flare. And this, of course, people will stake, they'll delegate, whatever you want to call it, and just more and more supply. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. But there you go. If you've been waiting for your Flare, Coinbase has paid up. Terrence Rafferty, but thank you, Marco. That was generous. Thank you. Terrence Rafferty, shipping container home off the grid in nature will bring happiness. Bring more happiness than somebody under the bridge, for sure. Pi, new member. Hi, Pi. Thank you. Alan Frissy, thank you very much. Love the vids, BCB. You keep us well grounded, bro. Aside from gold and silver, do you see other precious metals, rare earths as a good long-term hold? Any in particular that you're keen on? I do own platinum. I should probably own more platinum than I do. But like my distribution of my assets in metals is about, I don't even know how much I own. Hold on. I can figure this out really fast. How much is an ounce of platinum? It's like $1,000, right? I'm massively underweight on platinum. My silver represents about 50% of my portfolio. Gold represents 45% of my no, that's not right. It is about 55% silver, 40% gold, and 5% platinum. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. That's how mine is. Oscar Hernandez says, and you forgot to add another part of your happiness, BCB, being in the BCB community. I did forget that, man. And I lost it, huh? I don't have it in here anymore. If I had my whole little write-up that I had here, being in BCB community. 90% of your happiness is in here, but how much happier are you compared to the person who is not? You are 100% happier than that guy. Okay. B. Cox Johnston. How do 702 rejections look like? By the way, NVIDIA. Oh, here we go, NVIDIA. I haven't checked it, man. I'm waiting for retail to come in here and see. You were wrong. Oh, there it is. It still hasn't gotten through yet. This is like a retail trade, a crowded retail trader trade. There we go. So how are you looking? Roll over. Let's look at daily. Still nothing crazy of breakdown. Like, yeah, you got a pretty big pull here, but nothing crazy. How about like multi-day time frame? About 2 days. Nothing crazy on the 2-day. Nothing crazy on the 3-day. Except maybe, right? You've lost a lot of the juice there on the 3-day time frame. Some bigger time frames, it's starting to emerge that strength has been lost in here. There was not like huge volume rejection that showed up here just yet. But yeah, definitely you see that the strength on multi-day time frames has started to wane here. more than it has over the course since January. So this is the lowest it's been since January. The strength is falling off a cliff as we are here. So, yeah. Sometimes they're aggressive, sometimes they're slow. And like this was a real odd for Bitcoin, this how slow this was. This was so long. So it doesn't always happen in just straight lines, straight rejections. But it's looking like it's starting to over there on NVIDIA. But thank you. That was your first time. Thanks. Sydney, missed my entry. What do you suggest for entering? That's the problem. See, I can't even really give a tip on that at this point. If you believed, if you sold the bottom and you're trying to get back in, this is the risks of that. The risks of having to buy back in when prices go up. Why aren't we on this? Regular. Logarithmic. There we go. Prices just moving straight up and up and up. Hard to say that it's an easy entry at this point for anybody in here if you've missed it. And because what you have here is that you are already 97% off the lows, and even to just a 50% retracement, right? You are only 36% away. The bulk of just getting to each danger level, even a 702 is only 69%, whereas we're already up 97%. So just it's difficult. And I really don't even want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. If you missed it, you missed it. That's an unfortunate situation to be in. Because like I always say, I'm nervous, right? I'm nervous after prices move up really drastic. I always say that. When I'm down here, I'm the confident, optimistic person. And most people, retail has a hard time with that. And so when I say most people, that's statistically most people, 65%, right? 35%, which a lot of you probably are grouped into, not, right? Yeah, it sucks. You feel the pain and everything like that, but you're holding on to that optimistic view. But 65% don't. And then when we get here, man, this is where it's like, okay, like, how crazy is it going to get? Are we going straight to retracements right away, right? Are we going straight up to them right away? Or do we have to play a ton of ranging? Because there can be. These getting back to retracements, it's not super predictable in these ranges. Look how weird it's already been. This was weird. The nice thing about it is like there was at least some method to that madness, as it was a back test of the 200-day moving average. But this is odd. It's odd to do that. So how it's going to work up, if it has to pull back first and then go, or do we go now and then you get rejected there and then you waddle here and then you go? There's so many things that can happen, and this is ranging behavior. So if you missed your entry, like, I'm sorry. What do I suggest? Yeah, I don't know. Hope that it pulls back, I guess, and that there's a safer way to get in. Chris fixed to cars and BCB to PP. Oscar Hernandez, thank you. And then thank you, Sydney. Oscar Hernandez. Chris fixed to cars and BCB to PP. Yeah, so the problem with this entry is, right, like a trader would have a hard time here. Even a professional trader would just have a hard time. It's like not something that is like let's all make the entry right here. You have the resistance levels. And this is going to be hard for when you all know who I'm talking about, out there, the biggest bull trap in all of history. When the flip to bullish happens, where is that level at? Like you say, yeah, I was wrong. That we didn't go to here. We're way up here now. But even then, you can't flip to bull here because all of that danger resides right there. So this thing could get all the way up here. And then you have to still kind of say Bitcoin's in a broader bear market on a bigger time frame. It's a big time frame bear market, right? You can still say that there. By the time you can sit there and start saying, well, you know what? My thesis may be invalidated on that. It's not until you actually get through here. And then by the time you get through here, what has happened? It's almost at all-time highs. Like, really, you had to wait till it get to all-time highs to finally be like that? So you have to kind of like, for me, it was about, I got to play this thing from the very bottom. I can't wait for it to reverse, for the obvious reversal sign to show up and for it to look like a reversal before I get back in, because I run percentages. I know this is a trap and a problem that happens to people. By the time it reverses, the market's moved up 100% without you. And then you have to try to get back in. And it's just, it's a dangerous place to do that, unfortunately. There's no real clear tip to tell you, hey, go ahead and buy and you're going to be safe. Because that's just not true. So maybe, hopefully you get a big dip. Ratchet Emery says, are you saying a big dip before the big run up to all-time high for XRP? That's what we've been talking about. Pi, thank you very much. Hey, BCB, how high can XRP go in this summer retrace? How high can it go? Well, we're talking about ranging, right? So we haven't broke from range, and the price action that we had was not a range breakout. This is the typical normal stuff we do in ranging behavior. This is the typical normal stuff we do in ranging behavior. So nothing has really changed in regards to us being in a range. So if you kind of just wanted to be like, all right, well, if you use a reference point of saying here to here, this is kind of the top of the range. This is kind of where the top of the range is. We'll see if that continues. But that's my best guess for now until we leave the range that we've already hit the top of the range. Anything beyond that, I'd start considering it breakout of range. But I can tell you right now, if we start moving up here and then we're just kind of like waddling above here, that's not breakout of range. XRP, it's like this. It's like this stuff. That is breakout. George Alexanderopoulos, is your F target only to retracement levels? Well, what do I hope for? I hope Ethereum is in a new super cycle, right? And it's going to 70K. But I have to protect myself at the retracement levels. If we get through the retracement levels, I'll change my mind. But it's very simple, very simple. Back into here. Protection, take cover, get safe. And if we get through here, hey, all good, right? So I catch the bulk of the move, 200, 300%. I miss out on 30. Maybe I get an opportunity and it pulls back a little bit. Don't know. Maybe it does break out. I get a little bit of pullback. I get back in. I've missed out on 32. But I at least got my answer on what's going to happen here, because this is the most likely rejection level there possibly is. And that's just my thought process right now. And it's not that I'm going to sell all my Ethereum. I'm going to sell a portion of it to take cover and take safety. But I am incredibly intrigued by supercycle theory. Incredibly intrigued by it. Remember, this is what this was too. We've pointed to this as well. This is exactly what it is. It's the exact same size as it was last time. And here we are, same thing, Adam and Eve. Dr. Taya, another when question you can't answer, but when BCB merch? Man, everybody wants it, but I just haven't done it. I'll think about it, which is like the same thing I say every time just to divert away from the question and move on. I'll think about it. Janice Police with the super chat. Thank you, Janice. Mad Muke, first timer. Thank you. I love you, BCB. I've been with you since 2019, way back when you told us the narrative would eventually go against the dollar. Isn't this the beginning of it? Well, the narrative against the dollar, it happened a lot right there in 2020 and 2021. I think it's just a continuing. And I do feel, I don't know if it's going to, I think faith has been lost, man. Faith has been lost. And that's the problem with a faith-based debt system with money that's not backed by anything except the illusion. The faith has to be there, right? And the faith is fading. So, Dr. Ty, but thank you very much, Mad Munich. That was your first time. Appreciate it. Dr. Ty, when XRP Moon, please release BCB merch so we have something to spend our money on beside Lambo. That's true. I forgot to include that in the laws of diminishing returns of happiness, that there's one caveat to that. It's BCB merch. That increases you by like 30%. Oscar Hernandez's cousin. Thank you. Hola, locos. Hit the like button for the best BCB. I agree with that. Thank you, Oscar Hernandez's cousin. Eddie Ross says, Philip Anderson, 18.6 year cycle includes stocks. Man, now that you say it, I think I might have heard of this. What does it say? Until 2024, 2025? Is that where things are supposed to get rough? Exceed. Thank you, Eddie. And thank you, Oscar Hernandez's cousin. And then Exceed, crying face. Still can't, or just teardrop. Still can't get them out, shaking my head. Love this channel. And we want 2-hour stream and BCB merch. For some reason, I can only do a $10 super chat, but you deserve so much. Thanks. Well, thank you, Exceed. That's a lot of merch stuff. A lot of people saying merch. Thank you very much, Exceed. Sydney says, I missed my entry. I'm looking for ETH and Bitcoin, but where? I don't know, man. You know, so like, if like those are the only two assets you can get, you know what I mean? Like it has to be Bitcoin or Ethereum. I don't know. Bitcoin's crushing it. There you go. It's on a way move up. Let's see what's going on here. It's attempting to go for breakout again. I will say I'm definitely second guessing my thoughts on this thing just rolling over on itself after a short squeeze. As we discussed, short squeeze, we got it. $200 million of shorts were liquidated. Price still maintained itself. So may have to revisit the whole idea of this thing rolling back down as it still continues to hold itself up. And especially since it's getting back to there right now, looking like it wants to try to break out once again. Like we just talked about, there you go. You get the total market cap of all of crypto. This could be an interesting day in markets. Definitely a good day to watch. It feels like a Friday. It's only Thursday. Definitely feels like a Friday. Good day out there with Ethereum also knocking on that height door from August. If total market cap gives us any clue, and if Bitcoin gives us any clue, hopefully we're getting through right there. But right, so like Sydney, you're asking that question. You're saying, I need to get in on Ethereum. Look where you're wanting to do it. Look where you've missed your entry and your FOMO or desire to get back into this is at. It's at the literal top of the year-long range. So you're trying to buy. You're wanting to buy right here underneath this resistance. So it's just a dangerous place to think about it. The chart would need to play out more before. If I was in that position, I just couldn't. I wouldn't be able to do anything at this right here. Because even if you buy it and you say, I think it's going to break out, what are you going to do when it pulls back? Where's your, like, how are you going to risk manage that? You're just going to draw trend lines. You know what I mean? I think it's just going to have to be kind of a wait thing. For me, if I was in this situation, I'd have to wait. The hardest part of this market is doing things when the rest of the herd won't do them. When everyone is screaming, we're going lower, and you just are buying the heck out of it during CRUD. And that's really how the market goes. Then when everybody is suddenly bullish together, everybody wants to buy at the same time. But we've already risen a dramatic portion by the time we get there. So your desire to enter is also at the exact same time as a lot of people's desire to enter is. But we've already moved up quite a bit, and the thing was right back there. So I think for me, it needs time to breathe. Texas takeover. Have you decided what your next vehicle will be once your truck has diminished to no return? uh, I'd be interested in a Ram 2500, which is why I drew that on there. Said Ram 2500 because that's what I want. But I'd even consider, a Silverado or maybe F-250. I'm not really leaning towards 250. I kind of like the interiors of Rams more. I'm thinking of the interior between a Ram Silverado and a F-250. I'd probably pick the Ram. So I don't know. King Ranch. Yeah, I mean, no Ram, please. Silverado, yeah. So, that's what I'm thinking, Texas takeover. No car, no SUV. Truck. Big one. Bobby Thomas, new member. Thank you. Bobby Thomas, hey, BCB, LTL. My big bag is XRP. Interested in theory on having a bag of Bitcoin and rotating that and other coins into XRP if and when they retrace or blow off top. Short-term gains concerns. Yeah, any move you ever do, right? I'm not a tax professional, so I don't talk about taxes very often, and you should contact a licensed tax advisor, which I don't think that is. You should contact a certified public accountant prior to taking any taxing advice. Which, by the way, I actually submitted my taxes last night. I'm done. I paid. Yes, anytime you do anything, you are doing short-term gains or long-term gains. If you are swapping from one thing to Bitcoin, like if you're selling Ethereum into Bitcoin, you go trade on the ETH Bitcoin chart, that is a taxable transaction. You do anything, it's a taxable transaction. It's a short-term gain if it's less than a year. It's a long-term gain if you've held it for longer than a year, at least in the United States. But of course, contact a certified public accountant before doing any of that. But okay, so do I have concerns about short-term capital gains? No, because look, it just is what it is, right? The thing is, I'm not going to give advice here. I'll just tell you something I have done because my accountant told me it was okay for me. Is that there's no wash trading rules yet on crypto. There is wash trading rules out there in the stock market, but there's not wash trading rules in crypto. And you need to confirm that with your certified public accountant. But, you can always tax loss harvest it at the end of the year. So, that is up to you. So, no, I'm not worried about it. Gains are gains. In the end, it all kind of settles there at the end of the year. But, right, so, let's say, no matter what, you're going to have to take the gains when you sell it at any point anyway, right? So, then you start running the math on it. You say, well, if I hold it, then I'm not worried about the taxes right now. But if I sell it, then I'm going to be taxed at 30%. And then, so that means I'm really only buying 70% of this asset because I have to pay the rest of this in taxes. And if you set the money aside, yeah. But if you put it all in there, then, you can harvest at the end of the year. But yeah, again, I don't really want to talk about that. You talk to a certified public accountant if you're worried about short-term tax gain stuff. But as for rotating, I own Bitcoin. I bought Bitcoin down here. I bought a lot of stuff down here. I bought Bitcoin. I bought Ethereum. I bought a lot of altcoins. I bought a lot of stuff. I've always talked about it, that I always own some Bitcoin, just in case. In case Bitcoin goes up first, I've got to have some of it and take advantage of it. My primary account is full of altcoins, and that includes Ethereum and XRP, who make up the bulk. But also owning some Bitcoin too, and definitely, if given the opportunity, the dream team scenario of gloriously glorious would be that if there is a massive rotation opportunity in here, it would be, if that's how things played out. If you could imagine if it did play out like that, if this kind of rolls over here and everything else is moving up, and like portfolio goes up by 5x, but then you get to rotate it all into here, and then this thing goes crazy like it did in 2017. How amazing would that be? But no way to know if it really will play out in that order of operations. But yeah, my intention is to rotate a lot if I get the opportunity. But thank you, Bobby. That's your first time. Hope I answered your questions. But the main thing is, out of any of that tax discussion, is you need to contact a CPA and get professional advice on any of that kind of stuff, on how you're going to do any of that. But man, I feel like a pro because I paid my taxes last night, and I've gone through every single transaction of anything crypto from last year, and that was not fun. But it's done, and it's always fun to do it with your accountant. Oh, I see you took a loss on SHIB. What's that? Shibu Inu? Meme? Yeah, you lost $300 on that. What's up with that? Nothing. All right. So, all right, guys, we made it an hour and 54 minutes. I'm not going past 2 hours because I sure as heck couldn't keep it under 1 hour. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, guys. We'll keep an eye on the markets today. It's interesting out there as the total market cap continues to push after breaking out of range, backtesting, and continuing to push up. We'll keep an eye on it today. Tomorrow's Friday. I guess we'll start playing Rebecca Black. It's Friday on Fridays. Just kidding. Maybe. No, I can't do it, man. So you get copyright strike for that. You can play the frog. The frog, he allows you to play that one, but not Rebecca Black. They probably run bots to capture the revenue from any of that played. These 2 hour streams be hitting. No, man, these are too long. These are supposed to be, I'm going the opposite direction of what I always said I was going to do. It was going to be 30 minutes, under 30 minutes, but they're always going an hour. And now here we are in the third 2 hour stream in a row. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you guys for coming out here. I always have fun doing this, and you guys are supportive, and the chat's always real active, guys. Thank you so much. What means the frog? Peter. Gator says, have a blessed day, everybody. When March BCB? When? All right. Peter. When? What? What's the frog? Okay. I'm done. Under 2 hours. We did it, boys and ladies. I'll catch you guys over there on Twitter, whatever, for the rest of the day. Again, I'm over here recording videos. There's not going to be a video on the YouTube channel today. Probably not one tomorrow either, but I'm over here recording like crazy. But we're just trying to get things wrapped up on my end. If you could, please like this thing, but let's go ahead and wrap it up. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back.